Hello, all greetings. I am Gilles Mancion. I am called to return today on this Sunday to bring about this message about the spiritual ascension process. All those things I'm talking about here are very, very essential, very, very important. It may not be taken seriously by most people in society, but they're very essential, and they will come to people who will eventually come to realize that this law of one is more than essential to what is going to be coming into the future for humanity, and so. I'm going to pull a few cards first for some simple guidance to see what Spirit may wish to and teach us with. So the highest wisdom for us today is completion. It's about completing the old cycle. For it is natural to be reborn, to be born, but first we have to die. And it's really hard to die from the old state, to let our psyche die in order to be reborn into a new state. So it is about finding the wisdom to find that completion. What we need to understand is to create, to work with creation, to be creative, to follow our passion, to follow, for our thoughts are creative, so we create with our mind. And so what we need to do is achievement. We need to achieve whatever that level we need to achieve, whatever is asked of us from the inner plane is really what we need to do. And the outcome is the effort, for there is a need to produce a certain effort that is required. For this effort is the effort it's not a big effort. It is just enough to get the result that we seek to achieve. And sometimes some things may be easy for some people, may be hard for other people. So it is about understanding what the sense of effort means. I wanted to talk about a few things. The first thing is about ET disclosure, about understanding this whole realm of extraterrestrials. It will come one-on-one. We do not want to wait. We don't need to wait for government to announce that, because it's funny. I used to live 20 years. I lived for 20 years in America, and for about 10 years there, I was like teaching people how to create interdimensional ship, to teleport into our extraterrestrial ships, or the planets, or the civilization. And so I wrote a book about that, and we'll reopen a space agency really soon to continue this program. But it's interesting is that they have a law there in America that if you maintain relationship with extraterrestrial, you can go 1 year in prison, and you have $5,000 of bail you can be fined $5,000. But they never came to find me. But I was, I would have been ready to go in front of justice with that, because they've been hiding this truth about extraterrestrials for such a long time that just to enforce that law would mean they have to recognize the existence of extraterrestrials, which they're not willing to do at this point. But So it's about making that connection. We all can make that connection. We all already have that connection. It's about accepting that relationship, knowing yourself as a member of the Federation. For I recognize myself for a very long time. I've had access to the ships, to all kinds of resources of the invisible world through this connection of the Federation. For we will become eventually a star nation, and we'll join the Federation. But as an individual, we can already do that. This relationship with the extraterrestrial is from heart to heart, is one-on-one, and there is no superior or inferior. It's not about being in supplication or to recognize them as God, for you are just as much of God as they are. It's just there is two things that needs to understand: is to respect the wisdom of those who are from a higher plane, and to understand the ignorance of those who are on a lower cycle. As long as you know that, then you can. There's still one, but you know where you locate yourself. And so also you're welcome in the great collective brotherhood. This is my connection to the spirit realm, is through this brotherhood, this collective brotherhood, the great white brotherhood, and we're here in assistance to humanity. And so we're all part of that collective brotherhood. And so as a brotherhood of intelligence in the universe, you can reconnect your spirit self through that connection as well. It is just a matter of we've made request, and as we request, because we had this longing, this inner call, and now we just need to tune in to that frequency, to accept it, to embrace the energy. We want to pay attention to our dreams. Some of our dreams are very essential to what they reveal to us. It was funny, the other day I had this dream. I fell asleep with this mantra, Kadosh, 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 Adonai Sebayot. Kadosh, 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 Adonai Sebayot. And I fell asleep with this mantra, and then I was in my dream. I was continuing to repeat the mantra, and I started levitating. But since I was doing the mantra, I wasn't sure if I was asleep or awake. And then I awake, and I realized that I was dreaming. But it was kind of interesting. And if anyone speaks Hebrew, if you understand Hebrew, I was wondering if the T is silent in Hebrew. because it sounded like that in the original mantra. When you repeat this mantra, you should do it 108 times every day for 30 days, and it was very powerful. And also wanted to say the best service you can do is through speaking your truth, to not hold yourself back in speaking your truth. That's the best service you can do, or to create art, or to work with the arts. This is the best potential service that we can offer to the planet at this time. Understanding also that everyone is divine, everyone is capable, and greatness is your natural state. To recognize yourself, this greatness of your inner being and practice that, then it becomes natural, and you will start feeling more confident in relationship to our ascension process. There is an ego desire and soul desires, but if you don't know, then follow your desire, follow your passion. If you receive the information that you got to stop certain things, then you stop it and you wait for the inspiration to lead you into better ways. But also that the desires is what fuels the life of an evolution. So it is natural to follow our desires, although if we want to find serenity eventually and to desire that serenity, so we are free from needing to feel unsatisfied in relationship to desire that have not yet been attained, but everything will be attained, whatever is part of the soul plan. For understanding also, the dark souls have much less incarnation than the older soul, the light soul. For if you're working in this light program, you've been here a lot longer, you're no longer interested in the dark past. When a soul first comes down, it gets interested, it falls into the darkness and it explores the darkness. Then it pays for its karma, and then eventually it wants to come out of it. And it's like that's when it's like, but it takes a long time. So some of the dark souls that are opposing the light are part of the much younger souls, but they will not be able to resist very long. The planet will soon be liberated. Understanding the mind is a very powerful tool for creation. Everything comes from the mind. Everything was created by the mind of God. God thought of the universe and manifested it. So everything is thought, started with a thought. The human body, the trees, the planet, the stars, the galaxy, the cell. Everything was created from the mind of God. Of course, God's mind is infinite, so there is no way to go around it. It's like, but understand your mind is powerful. So choose, focus on positive thoughts, cultivate loving thoughts, cultivate light thoughts, seek wisdom, and so it is important to make that choice and to become perspicace, to be able to create that dance within yourself when you are able to liberate yourself, because the mind, and within the mind there is certain muscles that needs to be within our psyche. There are certain psychic muscles that we need to practice. It's like doing this workout, doing this, practicing love, practicing compassion, practicing positive thoughts, and also asking the angels to reprogram ourselves to whatever we need before we go to sleep. We can ask the angels, because the spirit realm can work with us while we are awake, but there is the critical mind that's interfering when we are asleep. The critical mind does not interfere, so it's like whatever request you have, you make it before you go to sleep, and even if you don't have a full consciousness of what happened when you return, a lot of things can be done through the sleep state. I wanted to thank Archangel Zadkiel and Lady Amethyst to reinforce this violet fire within us, so that we can work with it. It's the most powerful flame, the flame of transformation in this world. It seems like it will be the flame for the next 1,000 years. Is really what we need to become, this violet fire, in order to transmute all of the negative, the lower frequency energy. Understanding that forgiveness is a very high frequency energy. It is very powerful. It neutralizes negative patterns and negative thoughts, and it helps us move forward. Then there is forgiveness for the self and forgiveness for others. When forgiveness is accepted, there is a total liberation. Sometimes it can be accepted in one sense and rejected by another part. But even if you forgive someone who asks someone to be forgiven for something, and the person rejects his call, you already made a step towards that freedom. So it is always good to practice forgiveness as much as possible. Understanding also lower thoughts will be limited in scope and power. When we have negative thoughts, they're they're localized and temporal. But when we work, we have thoughts for the highest good of all. For instance, everything we do for the highest good of all, positive, beautiful thoughts, loving thoughts, they traverse the whole universe and they bounce back to us. But it takes a long time. Negative thoughts come back really quickly to us because they're very limited in terms of frequency. But positive thoughts, they traverse the whole universe. and they return to us, but they take a little bit longer to come back to us. But there's a lot more. So there's a lot to be this idea of working or thinking to the highest good of all, your highest good of all, and the highest good of all is a very, very powerful intention to always place in all things. For right now, the physical body is being elevated, but it cannot integrate this higher frequency energy. It is very, very intense. This higher light is very, very intense. So we need to purify our body. In the meantime, you can move out of your body and experience the higher planes as an experience of within the astral plane. So it is. We have to practice that, and eventually we want to integrate and bring it down to our physical body. And so I also want to say there is a great deal of resistance from politicians, from the publicity. It's like those things are becoming a lot more annoying, a lot more violent, a lot more loud. And it's like nobody's duped anymore. So it's like it's just the end of a cycle. We have to accept and tolerate that, but yet protect yourself from all those negative vibes. Just do not let yourself be plunged into this duality to oppose the darker forces. There is no need for that. You need to isolate, to go into the silence, to go into nature, to isolate yourself if necessary, to do your meditation, to find your peace and joy, to return to that state of serenity, to go into nature if necessary. Well, I hope this message will have meaning for you. I hope it made sense. I hope you will be able to practice some of those ideas. And the painting behind me is a self-portrait from 2005. It's a very important painting for me. It's a significant work. And this one as well, it's from 2008. It's from the Metacosmic, my second Metacosmic series. It's the galactic center of the great galaxy of Orvonton. The Milky Way eventually will be the Golden Rose Galaxy, as the Archangel Michael prophesies. For the Archangel who already know the future, we want to call on them. We want to invite them as much as possible, the spirit realm, our spirit family, to invite them so that we can feel fully connected to all those resources. And I'm going to pull a last card from the Akash for today. It's the tree. The tree is about growing. It's about anchoring our energy into the earth and growing into the sky. I'm going to sing a song to finish. It's a song about the morning. It's a beautiful song. Cat Stevens goes like this. Morning has broken like the first morning. Blackbird has spoken like the first bird. Praise for the singing, praise for the morning. Praise for them springing fresh from the world. Sweet the rain new fall, fun lit from heaven, like the first dew fall on the first grass. Praise for the sweetness of the wet garden, sprung in completeness where his feet pass. Mine is the sunlight, mine is the morning, born of the one light, hidden so plain. Praise with elation, praise every morning, God's recreation of the new day. Morning has broken like the first morning. Blackbird has spoken like the first bird. Praise for the singing, praise for the morning. Praise for them springing fresh from the world. Beautiful song about celebrating the day each and every day. Well, I wish you a wonderful Sunday, a wonderful week to come, and I'll talk to you later. Namaste.